channel, and today I'm going to be cracking on with another furniture upcycle project. This is a cabinet that I found free on the street, and I knew I had to have it. I've had it in my storage room for quite a while, but now is the time to crack on with it and hopefully transform it into an amazing bar drinks kind of cabinet with a pink and palm tree vibe. So yeah, if you want to see how I'm going to transform it, then keep on watching.
Okay, so the first thing to do is to talk you through the cabinet and my plans for it, but also just have a little bit of a look at the state of it. This was left outside somebody's house. Unfortunately, it became exposed to the elements, so it has got a bit of damage to it, but the important elements to the cabinet, like the glass and the feet and all of that, they're all intact. The door catch still works, the door hinge still works, and they're the important things. The rest of it really is just cosmetic. So let me talk you through my plans for this beautiful vintage cabinet. I think it's probably 1960s, maybe 70s. It was obviously in somebody's home. I think they were doing a clear out from their parents' home, and they just, yeah, they put it on the street for somebody just to take. So on the top here we've got a kind of like fake wood veneer. So as I said, because this got left outside, it has got a little bit damaged. So one of the first things I'm going to need to do is to sand this down. It has this kind of don't know if you can see this trim around here. This is actually plastic, and it probably back in the day was a bit cleaner, but also it's got this kind of gold trim. I'm going to paint the whole lot actually, but yeah, all of this is going to get sanded to flatten it down, flatten down all of this damp, and there's like a cut mark and all sorts, and then I'll probably seal it to get a nice you know, what's the word, smooth finish. Gonna have to do some serious wood fillering along here with my heavy duty filler, square it off to get a nice straight edge there on the back. The colour that I'm thinking of, I will show you in a bit. It's actually going to be a pink, like a dusky blush colour, and that's going to go on all of these sections. So there's kind of like a sort of fake wood here. As you can see, the paint's all peeling off from this. This all needs sanding and fillering and whatnot. Like down here, as you can see, this plastic trim has come away a bit, so I'm going to have to pop some glue in there and try and clamp this to get that to be flush again. It had a case of the ants, this, from being outside, so it really does need a good clean. But look at these beautiful Dancet legs. My plan is to take them off to try and polish up the brass section to repaint this gold section. I'm also hoping to maybe paint some of this trim gold, but we will see. Then we've got a single glass door that opens to inside. Now the glass door, it needs gluing into the hinge, but apart from that it's in good working order. But this design is a little bit outdated, I think, but I do like the gold scroll work, and so I am going to look at maybe trying to remove just the red sections, just to make it a little bit more modern. I may remove this design and just keep the big outside scroll, and I'm hoping to be able to do that with just my paint scraper. So I'll show you how I do that. Inside, the shelves are great. Glass shelves obviously need a really good clean, but they're completely intact. There's no chips, there's no, you know, missing shelves or anything. And at the back you've got a mirror. Hello. So now the mirror has a problem in that, look, there's even a little bit of dead flower in there, lovely. The mirror doesn't reach the bottom. There's some sort of issues with warping and whatnot. So one of the very first things I'm going to have to do is deal with the back. So I'll show you the back. So this is the back of the cabinet. As you can see all the water damage here at the back. This is just a board that's stapled on, and I actually already have a new board that's cut to the right size to slot in on the back. So my plan is to remove all of these staples, take the back off, and that then means I'll be able to get access to the mirror and to the shelves. I'm going to take everything out from inside, give the whole thing a clean, a fill, a sand, and then I'll be able to look at what's sort of achievable. Definitely going to keep the mirror in the back. It's absolutely beautiful. But I'm actually thinking of giving the sides a makeover so they actually become solid. So instead of just being clear glass, I'm actually going to wallpaper these so that they're, you won't be able to see through it anymore. I'm going to wallpaper both the inside and the outside, and then hopefully we'll get this lovely reflection of the design in the mirror at the back. It was a toss-up between putting some kind of wallpaper at the back or putting it in the sides, but I just think the mirror's in, well, hopefully I need to get it out and clean it, but the mirror's in pretty good condition and it seems a shame to cover it up. If I get it out and I can't clean it to where I'm happy with, then it may be that I swap my plan around and I actually wallpaper that mirror at the back, which also equally will look lovely. So I'll show you the paint and the wallpaper that I'm thinking of. Okay, so here's the wallpaper. You might recognize this from the little cabinet makeover that I did. It's in the back of there, and it's this, it's a fresco wallpaper from B&Q, and I got it, the last roll, in the sale as well, and then they reduced it even more to £2, so I bought, I think I bought 2 rolls of it, but I've definitely got this whole roll, and I just like the fact that it's got that palm vibe, but it's not too over the top. It's still very light and bright, and the paint that I'm going to be teaming it with is the Frenchic al fresco in Dusky Blush, which is just this lovely dusky pink. So it's going to be quite a girly cabinet, but I think it could look amazing once done. And I don't think, once I've done the cleaning and the filling, there's not a huge amount to paint. The bones of this, considering it was on the street for free, is great, and the shape of it is beautiful. So yeah, first job is to take that back off and let's get inside it and clean it out. So I bought myself this little tool on Amazon. This is a tool that we used to use when I worked at the theatre for pulling out staples. It really is the best thing ever instead of using a knife. Probably won't be able to do it one-handed for you. I need to put the camera on the tripod. But essentially, you push this section underneath the staple and then you can use it to pull them out. Here we go. So look at this one here. We push this part of the staple underneath, and then you can literally just gently pry it until you get it out. There we go. Brilliant. Much better than trying to use a knife or scissors or anything like that. And it wasn't very expensive. And when I saw how many staples were in this, I knew it's probably a wise investment. So yeah, I'm going to work my way around and get the whole back off with this. Great, so yeah, I've managed to get the mirror out of the back, and it just means, yeah, I've got access to the glass shelves now. I can just slide these out, and I'm probably going to do most of my work to the cabinet without the back on, because it's a lot easier. It means I can paint all inside, I can wallpaper inside. So yeah, really the big first job is I'm going to see whether the feet unscrew. I'm going to try that, and then yeah, to give it a really good clean, a sand, filler it, and basically prep it, glue anywhere that needs to be glued, and prep it for painting. So I've unscrewed the dance set legs, and they are wood and then metal bottom half with feet, and the feet actually have like angles, so the whole thing can be angled if your floor's wonky. So This section is very, very tarnished, so I'm going to try a bit of metal polish and just see if it'll clean this up to be nice and lovely and brass again. I'm hoping it will. I'd rather have that than have to sort of spray it, but if I can't get this up, then I will get possibly some rub and buff or something like that to brass effect these feet again. And I'm going to paint this section gold. I'll have to sand them and then paint them gold so the gold's nice and vibrant again. So let's give it a go and see what happens when I try one out. It's definitely going to work. I don't know if you can see. It's definitely coming up shiny. It's just going to take a good amount of elbow grease. So I'm going to have to crack along with this, speed this up for you, because this could take me quite a while, but I definitely think it will be really worth it. So I've done all 4, and I'll just focus it. They've come up okay. Some of them better than others, and it's quite a tricky process to not actually take the actual brass off. So I have bought some rub and buff, which is a wax that you can put on metal and it sets and you can buff it up. I'll show you that when it arrives, and I think I'm going to add some of that onto them. But this is a much better base, a lot less dirty than they were, and obviously I'll only need a little bit of rub and buff just to make them look jazzy. I also managed to get the ends off. They're just in with these pins. One of them still got the pin in, so I need to keep them safe. And then these, I'm gonna give them a light sand, and I'll paint them like this, which is a lot easier. I'll stand them up in something. My next job is to tackle the door. I'm just waiting for the unit that I have cleaned to dry. It's sat next to the radiator, so I'm gonna put the door onto this towel on this table, and I'm gonna start trying to scrape that design off. And a bit similar to the legs, it's going to be quite a slow process. Got to do it really gently because I don't want to obviously scratch the glass. I have tested it out on a bit of the design. I do know that it works. So yeah, I'll get that set up and then show you. So ignore the reflection of my ceiling light. It's too dark if I turn it off. But put the door on this table, and I turned it over so that the design is on this side that's facing up. And it's already gone in a few places, the design. I'm going to try and patch it in where it's badly gone. But as you can see, I've tested a bit out here. I definitely want to get rid of the red elements. And I'm going to use this little scraper that holds a Stanley blade. It needs to be a brand new blade. You've got to be really careful that you're holding the blade flat to the glass so you don't scratch the glass. And all I'm going to do is just use the blade to really gently scratch off the red. Now, I'm definitely going to get rid of the red here and these bits, but I am actually debating about getting rid of this whole line of design and just keeping the dots instead, so that's just a frame around the door. And then a tricky bit will be when I come to get rid of this red line here, because it's in between 2 gold. I'll have to be very careful that I don't accidentally scrape the gold off. So I'm going to need to concentrate on this. And yeah, just take it nice and slowly. And then anywhere where the gold design has slightly been lost, I'm going to just try and patch in with my gold paint. There's only a couple of places, so I don't think it'll be too much of a problem. So some of you might say, oh, why are you getting rid of the original design? And don't get me wrong, I'm trying my hardest to maintain a lot of the original features of the unit, but the point is this unit was on the street because it's just not to modern tastes. These units, they're for some people, they like them kept the way they are, but what I would like to do is open it up to sort of a new audience that might not have considered it. And I just think getting rid of some of the design will just help make it look a little bit more modern and mean it'll fit in somebody's home. I actually plan to sell this unit when I finished it, a bit like my other cabinet. So it's about appealing to a bigger market. But hopefully this will still keep a sort of sense of the original piece. So yeah, let's get cracking. Okay, it's the next day. I did a little bit of gluing last night and then left the cabinet overnight to glue. So I glued all this trim on and I just used some masking tape to hold the trim in place. To be honest, it's pretty well on. There's only a couple of places that it's starting to come off, and that's down the bottom really. I'll show you. Just down here there's a bit of gappage, but I'm actually going to sand this all to smooth it out, and then I'm going to add some cork in there, and then once it's painted that'll all look nice and neat. So yeah, my job now is just to take all this masking tape off and take the cabinet outside in the garden, and I'm going to go at it with my little mouse sander. Not too heavy a sandpaper, I just want to smooth it all out really. Going to use some hand sandpaper just to do these bits here, smooth them all out, and then I'll be able to get painting, which is my favourite bit. Okay, so a bit of a progress update for you. I ended up doing a bit of work last night in the evening. It was a bit too dark to film, but I thought I would show you where I'm up to. So I sanded the whole thing outside. I also corked all of the gaps so it's all nice and smooth. And then one job which did take not ages but is worth doing is just masking off the glass for when I paint. Now, I didn't bother masking off the sides because, as I said, I'm actually going to wallpaper these sides, and so it doesn't really matter if I go onto the glass with the paint, and I can scrape it off with my scraper. So at the moment the unit is actually upside down. This is the internal ceiling, as it were, so I'm painting it this way first. I've only done coat one, and Frenchic coat one is always a bit patchy. It's always, I think, if you've not used it before, you can panic a little bit and think that it's not going on very well. This actually went on lovely and thick, to be honest. So I need to do another coat this way up. I'm probably going to sand down if there's any kind of brush marks. Might just do a light sand after coat two, and then I'm going to flip it back the right way up, and then yeah, paint obviously the top, which is the most important surface. For the underneath and the back, I don't want to waste this Frenchic paint because it's so expensive and you're not really going to see them. So I'm going to actually paint them in a cheaper paint. I've got a couple of pots of this, just plain B&Q. It's actually just a standard emulsion, but because it's just chipboard, it's not really going to take that well any paint. It's probably going to soak in and stay quite bumpy, but it'd be nice that it's not wood coloured. It'd be nice if it was a sort of solid colour. So yeah, for the underneath and the new back panel, I'm going to paint them in this colour, which is called Kyoto, which is a much lighter pink than what I'm painting on the rest of the unit. But as I said, you won't see it, it won't matter. I also went to B&Q today and got some bits to do the last final bits. So some 2-part epoxy glue to glue the door back into its hinge, make sure that glass doesn't slip out, and some wallpaper paste for wallpapering those panels. Yeah, so more painting to do, then flip it over and even more painting, and then hopefully I can get to the exciting wallpapering bit.
so I'm going to finish off the legs. So as you can see, I have repainted the legs in this gold paint. I've actually used this is the Rust-Oleum metallic finish furniture paint in gold. It's really good. It's really has like a real richness to it. It does take a few coats, and if you are going over anything that isn't already gold, as you'll have seen in my bar cabinet video, the previous cabinet video, I would always put orange or red under it, but because these were already gold, just not as bright, I've just put it straight on. So, and I've reattached the little feet, which I obviously gave a go at polishing up. So I'm going to use this product. This is actually a new product to me. It's called Rub and Buff. I'd read about it, and it's essentially like a wax. It's very similar to the Annie Sloan wax, which I have used. I don't know if this works the same way. You only need a small amount, and you rub it onto metal or wood or whatever, and then you leave it to dry for at least like an hour, and then you can buff it off. So I've tried a bit already. Where's the one that I tried? So I've already put a bit of it on this one, and yeah, it's a much better finish than it was. It's just making it look a little bit, you know, brighter and less scruffy. So here's one to show you as an example. This is got black bits on it. It's not cleaned up as nicely as I would like, so I'm going to apply some Rub and Buff with a little cloth. You only need a tiny little amount, let it dry, and then buff it off. So it is the next day, and I gave the unit a couple of coats of paint on the top last night, and I actually did it with a roller, and that's so that you don't get any brush marks. So I'm really happy with the top of this unit now. I've also done the inside. It looks a bit messy at the moment, but I'll explain why I've done the inside as well. So my next job is to peel all of the masking tape off, and then use my scraper tool to scrape the majority of the paint off, and also neaten up anywhere around here, and then go in with a little brush if I need to in any places, and then I'm going to wallpaper. So I've cut my wallpaper strips ready. I'm going to be using this wallpaper paste, which is actually a paste the wall paste, so that I can paste it directly onto the window. I've cleaned all the unit off, scraped all the excess paint off. I'm going to start by wallpapering the inside of these two panels, and then I'll do the outside. So yeah, I'm going to mix a small amount of this up, and then start by pasting the top and work my way down. So as you can see, I've managed to get the glass in the back, the shelves are back in, and the back is on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to re-glue, glue in. I'm going to glue in
the glass door into this little hinge here. And while that dries and sets, I'm going to paint the back of the cabinet in just a sort of plain. I'm not using the main colour because the main colour is so expensive, so painting it in a sort of lighter, cheaper paint at the back. 'Cause you won't see the back, but it's nice if the back's all painted. So yeah. Okay, so that's on. I'm just going to let that dry, and then I'm going to, once I've painted the back, I'm going to add more of this gold around the top and around the bottom, give the whole thing the glass a clean, and then I am actually going to wax the top, and then it should be ready to show you the finished cabinet. Okay, and here is the finished cabinet. So I'm going to give you a little look round at it. Excuse the noise of the wind if you hear it. It's so stormy here at the moment, but I did want to get this, show you this today and show you the final result. I'm super happy with it. So yeah, let's take a little look. Okay, so yeah, all the top is all sanded and painted. I also put that finishing coat on, so it's got a ever so slight sheen to it, but it just means it's a bit more protected. The door is so hard to film things like this where they've got mirror and reflective in, so you'll have to just excuse all of the reflections, but the door has come out great. So if you remember, I removed like part of the design by scraping it off, but I feel like by keeping just a section of the design, it's still got that vintage feel, but it's just a little bit more modern, and it ties into the whole sort of pink and gold theme. So the legs have come up amazing. I think they're just that gold paint on them and that little bit of gold on the metal bases has just made them look a lot cleaner and newer, and that ties in with this gold trim that I've painted round. Inside, it's all nice and smooth. The mirror fits perfectly. Hello. Yeah, as I said, I did the little catch in gold just to tie it all in, so even the catch in there is gold. Inside you've got the glass shelves, and obviously I've wallpapered the inside as well, so I've done the inside of those panels and the outside. The door's all fixed on great. Everything sort of feels a lot stronger, sturdier. And yeah, I'm just super happy with it. I already put a little video transformation up on my Instagram, and the response was really positive. So yeah, I'm super happy with it. So I need to take some photos now of it. I'm actually going to stage it. I'm going to put maybe some bar stuff in it to stage it for the photos, and yeah, list it on Facebook and hopefully find, you know, it a good home. At the back, obviously I've painted the back, but I also did actually cork all the gaps. So the back is, let's spin it the whole way around. So the back is super neat. Obviously you're not really going to see it, but it's nice to have that nice clean painted back. Excuse my lovely slippers as well. Hope you enjoy them. Yeah, it's been a little bit of a labour of love, but I really hope I find a nice home for it, and I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the transformation. I do think it's a hell of a difference from how it was, you know, when I found it. It was so water damaged, and in fact it had all ants in it and everything because it had been left outside. So hopefully somebody will buy it and they will utilise it in their house, maybe as a bar cabinet or just a nice storage cabinet for items. But yeah, another successful transformation, I think. and not too bad cost-wise. So yeah, really happy. Let me know in the comments what you think of the final transformation, and give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. And of course, do subscribe. I've got loads more transformations, room transformations, upcycling and makeovers to come, and I will see you next time. Bye.